Welcome to Premium Coin Deals. Imagine this. You walk into your local coin shop or maybe just head down to your kitchen drawer where you've stashed all those random pennies over the years, and you find a 1973 Lincoln 1-cent penny. At first, you're like, it's just another penny. But what if I told you that this little guy could be worth, drum roll please, $1.5 million? Yes, you heard that right. It's not a typo, not a mistake, and it sure isn't a joke. So today, we're diving into the fascinating world of the 1973 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, and how it went from being a pocket change coin to a jaw-dropping $1.5 million treasure. Stick around because you won't believe the story behind this coin, and you might just want to check your own stash after this. Alright, let's break it down. The 1973 Lincoln 1-cent penny. On the surface, it's just another copper coin. But what sets this one apart is the fact that it has no mint mark. Yup, that's right, no D or S next to Abe's head. A lot of collectors get excited when they see something like this because it's rare. In fact, most pennies from that year have a mint mark, but this one, this little copper nugget, was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and that makes it special. You see, most pennies from the 1973 year were minted with either a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But a tiny number of them were struck without any mint mark at all. Now you'd think, well, who would care about something so small? But here's the twist, collectors care. And when the right collector gets their hands on this gem, they might just pay a hefty sum for it. We're talking millions. Now, here's where it gets wild. The current market value for a 1973 no-mint mark penny can be a staggering $1.5 million. Why, you ask? Because it's incredibly rare. Less than a handful of these pennies are out there in mint condition, and finding one in perfect shape. That's like finding a needle in a haystack. Let me tell you, as a coin collector myself, I've found some weird stuff in my penny jars over the years. One time, I found a penny that was so shiny it looked like it had just been made yesterday. Naturally, I got excited and thought it was a gold mine. Turns out, it was just a well-preserved 1985 penny. But hey, a guy can dream, right? But when you do find a good one, it's like hitting the jackpot. And that's what makes this 1973 no-mint mark penny so valuable. So, I've got to tell you about one of my first experiences with a rare coin. I was just a kid, maybe 10 years old, when my grandpa gave me a coin collection he'd been building for years. There were pennies, nickels, dimes, you name it. And of course, I didn't appreciate it at the time. I thought, Grandpa, why are you giving me a bunch of old, shiny things? I probably lost half of them in the couch cushions or traded them for a comic book or something. Rookie mistake. But here's the kicker. Years later, I was digging through that same old collection, and I found a 1909 penny that was worth a ton of money. My grandpa never told me how valuable it was. He was just a collector who loved history. I, on the other hand, was the kid who traded rare coins for plastic toys. Yep, I'm not proud of that moment. Anyway, that's what I love about coin collecting. You never know when you're going to find a treasure. Just like that 1973 penny, you could have it in your hands right now and not even realize it. How wild is that? Now that you know about the 1973 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, you've got a new mission. Check your change, dig through those old drawers, and maybe even call up Grandma and ask if she has any of these bad boys stashed away. Who knows? You could be sitting on a fortune, and that's a pretty awesome feeling. And if you love learning about coins and want more tips on finding coins worth millions, and believe me, there are plenty out there, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss any of our future episodes. Because trust me, you don't want to miss out on discovering your next hidden gem. We're diving into everything you need to know about the 1979 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, and why it could be worth more than that new car you've been eyeing. Let's get into it. Alright, before we get all fancy with the big money talk, let's break down what makes this penny so special. Now, the 1979 Lincoln penny in itself isn't rare, there are plenty out there. But this particular version, the one with no mint mark, is what has collectors in a frenzy. The key detail is no mint mark. Most pennies have a little D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But this one, with absolutely no mint mark, is a total mystery. And that's what makes it so valuable. Kind of like the time I found a missing sock in the laundry and had no idea where it came from. But hey, it's a rare sock, so I'm holding on to it. Same deal with this penny, it's a mystery that could make you rich. Now, here's where things get interesting. Only a small number of these no mint mark pennies were ever released, and that's what puts them in the Holy Grail category. We're talking about a printing error, and collectors are obsessed with printing errors. The 1979 no mint mark penny has been valued as high as $1.8 million, yes, million, in some auction circles. But let's pump the brakes for a sec. Not every penny from 1979 without a mint mark is going to be worth millions. We're talking about the perfect condition ones, the ones with no signs of wear and tear. So if you find one that looks like it just came out of a time machine, you might want to sit down, because you're about to have a serious conversation with your bank account. Cut to a playful reenactment of a person finding the penny in a jar. Imagine you're rummaging through your old change jar, just trying to find enough for a snack. And bam! You find it, the 1979 no mint mark Lincoln penny, sparkling like the treasure it is. You look at it. You think, should I spend it on a candy bar? Or do I take this straight to the coin dealer and see if they'll give me a new vacation instead? Don't be like me. I once spent an old coin on a coffee and regretted it immediately. Lesson learned, sometimes, a penny saved is actually a penny earned. Now let's talk specifics. For this penny to be worth $1.8 million, it needs to be in mint condition. That means no scratches, no discoloration, and definitely no spending it on your next Starbucks run. In fact, if you have one in perfect condition, you might want to lock it up in a safe or, an actual museum. It's not just about the year. It's about the condition and the rarity of this particular penny. Remember, a coin's value can vary wildly based on its condition. The better it looks, the more cash you're holding in your hand. Literally. Alright, let's bring this all together with a little story. A few years ago, I was at a coin shop, just browsing, seeing if I could find anything cool. And as I'm talking to the dealer, he pulls out a 1979 penny with no mint mark. I was about to walk away when he said, "This one's got some serious value if it's in perfect condition." Naturally, I asked, "What kind of serious value are we talking?" And when he said, $1.8 million, I dropped my coffee. Yeah. Dropped it right there on the floor. So that's when I realized the power of paying attention to details, and why I'm obsessed with checking out every penny I find now. So, to recap, if you find a 1979 no mint mark Lincoln penny in perfect condition, you might be holding on to $1 million coin. No joke. But don't go throwing all your pennies into a jar just yet. It's gotta be the right one, with no mint mark, looking pristine. And if you do find one of these rare beauties, hold on to it like you're holding the winning lottery ticket. Now, if you're serious about finding hidden treasures like this, and maybe making a small fortune, be sure to subscribe to my channel. I'll keep you updated with tips on coins worth money, hidden gems, and the latest strategies to cash in on your coin collection. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on what I've got coming next. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button and join the crew of coin hunters. Let's turn those pennies into profit. And remember, keep your eyes peeled. You never know where the next $1 million penny might be hiding. 1980 no mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny. And trust me, if you've got one of these bad boys, you might want to sit down, because your pocket change just got a whole lot more valuable. So, let's get into it. 1980. Not just a year of big hair, neon colors, and awesome rock and roll hits, but a year that gave us a game-changing penny. This coin didn't have a mint mark, no D for Denver or S for San Francisco. Just a clean, smooth, no mint mark penny. Seems pretty simple, right? Well, here's where things get interesting. Now, before we dive into the real value of this penny, let's backtrack a little. In 1980, the US Mint had a major hiccup, and some pennies were made without mint marks, something that's pretty rare to find. The majority of the 1980 pennies were stamped in Denver, which means they had a D mint mark. But for some odd reason, a small batch of them was released with no mint mark at all. And guess what? That little imperfection is exactly why these pennies are now worth over $1.7 million. Let me tell you a personal story here. One time, I found a penny in the parking lot at a local grocery store. I bent down, picked it up, and thought, meh, just another penny. I tossed it in my car cup holder with the rest of my change collection. Fast forward to a few weeks later, and I'm looking through my cup holder, cleaning it out. You know, that moment when you finally get to that dreaded job of organizing all the stuff you threw in there over the past month. Guess what I find? A 1980 penny. And I thought, what if, now, I didn't think it was worth $1 million, obviously, but I'm sure I would have been screaming if I knew what it could have been worth. Long story short, never underestimate the power of a penny, because sometimes, those tiny coins can turn into huge treasures. Okay, back to the 1980 no mint mark Lincoln penny. So, what makes this coin worth so much? Well, for starters, its rarity. Only a small number of these pennies were made, and even fewer have survived in pristine condition. We're talking about a coin that's part of the Minting Era Club, which makes collectors go absolutely wild. You're probably thinking, I've got a whole jar of pennies in my closet, maybe one of these is worth $1 million. Hold your horses. Not every 1980 penny is a treasure trove. Condition is everything. If your penny is scratched up, has a bunch of gunk on it, or was used as a toy for your pet hamster, unfortunately, it won't make the $1 million cut. But if it's in great shape, you're in luck. Here's what you should look for when checking your 1980 pennies. First, no mint mark. Second, a shiny, well-preserved coin. You want it to have that nice copper glow, no dullness, no tarnish. Third, a clear, bold image of Abraham Lincoln on the front. If your penny checks all these boxes, you could have something pretty darn valuable. Okay, so now you're probably running to your coin jar, ready to turn your collection into a gold mine. But here's the thing, don't just grab a magnifying glass and go hunting, thinking you're about to retire tomorrow. Finding one of these pennies is rare. But hey, stranger things have happened. That penny could be sitting in your change bowl right now, so take a look. And if you're not checking your coins yet, what are you waiting for? The next big find could be in your back pocket. Heck, even if you don't find the 1980 no mint mark, there are plenty of other coins out there worth big bucks. Stick with me, and I'll keep you updated on all the coins that could turn your change into fortune. So, make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell for notifications, and leave a comment below telling me about your coin finds. I'd love to hear if you've ever stumbled across something valuable in your spare change. 1987 no mint mark Lincoln penny could be worth a whopping $1.8 million? Yes, million! Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might just dig through your old change and find a ticket to the high life. No, seriously. It's a real thing. Now I can already hear you, a penny? A penny could be worth $1.8 million? Are you pulling my leg? Nope. Not at all. In fact, the 1987 no mint mark penny is one of those diamond in the rough finds that can turn your dusty old coin collection into something legendary. But let's break down why and how this humble penny gets its crazy high price tag. So, here's the deal. This penny is a 1987 no mint mark Lincoln cent normally. Pennies from 1987 aren't anything special. They're the kind you find under your couch cushions when you're looking for spare change to buy a coffee. However, if you're lucky enough to find a 1987 penny that doesn't have a mint mark, well, you're basically holding on to a rare treasure. Let's talk about mint marks for a second. Every year, the US Mint strikes coins in different locations, and they usually stamp a mint mark on them to tell you where it was made. Most pennies have a mint mark, the little D for Denver or S for San Francisco. But in 1987, some pennies were struck without a mint mark. Now, that's where the magic happens. You see, when the US Mint struck those 1987 pennies in Philadelphia, they made a few without the mint mark. No one really knew it at the time. In fact, they thought it was just a normal penny. But here's the twist. those missing mint mark pennies are actually super rare. And when something is rare, people want it. People pay for it. A lot. Now, let's get down to the nitty-gritty of why these 1987 no-mint mark pennies can fetch a jaw-dropping $1.8 million. It's all about rarity and demand. Only a handful of these pennies were made, and by handful, I mean a tiny handful. Some estimates suggest that there are only about 2 known to exist in mint condition. That means if you find one, you're holding onto a piece of coin history that collectors would pay a fortune for. And let me tell you, coin collectors don't mess around. They'll pay top dollar for rare finds like this. And you know, every now and then I think back to when I found my first rare coin. I was like 12 years old, digging through my dad's coin jar, and I'd pulled out a shiny 1943 copper penny. I had no clue it was worth thousands of dollars, but my first thought was, this is cool, I'm rich. Of course, I told my dad, and he laughed at me. But honestly, you just never know when you'll find that golden ticket in your coin jar. So, imagine how that would feel if it was a penny worth $1.8 million instead of just the cool one you show off to your friends. I mean, come on. A penny, worth that much? It's like finding a 4-leaf clover in a field of, just, regular clovers. Now, here's the deal, my fellow penny hunters. You're not going to find one of these babies every day, but you could. And I want you to be ready when you do. So, here's my challenge. Go grab that old coin jar, or maybe raid your mom's or grandma's drawer. Yes, I see you, lurking around with those vintage coins from way back. Search through your change. Who knows, you might be holding on to something that's about to make you a millionaire. And hey, if you want more tips on rare coins, how to spot valuable pennies, and strategies to cash in on your coin collection, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We've got tons of other coins worth big bucks that could be hiding in your house right now. Stay tuned, stay curious, and who knows, maybe you'll be the next lucky person to turn a penny into a fortune. 1991 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny. The current market value? A jaw-dropping $1.7 million. And I know you're thinking, did I accidentally spend that at the gas station last week? Don't worry, you're not alone. Stick around, and I'll show you why this tiny penny could make you richer than you ever imagined. Let's go ahead and break it down. Alright, folks, let's get into it. So, what exactly is this 1991 no-mint mark penny, and why is it worth so much money? First off, the mint mark, or the lack of it, is what makes this penny special. Normally, US coins have a mint mark that tells you where they were made. For pennies, you'll usually see a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco on the reverse side. But the 1991 no-mint mark penny? Well, it doesn't have anything, and that's where the mystery begins. Now, I know you're probably thinking, I've got some 1991 pennies lying around, but I haven't seen any with no mint mark. Maybe I'm just not looking closely enough? And you're right. These rare coins weren't just floating around for everyone to grab. The real kicker is that this penny was accidentally minted without a mint mark, which means there are very, very few of them out there. When you think about it, it's kind of like finding a rare Pokemon, except this one could buy you a house. So how did this happen? Great question. It turns out that the mint accidentally missed putting the mint mark on some of the pennies in 1991. It was likely a small, easily overlooked error, but it's one that's made collectors lose their minds. To make matters even more exciting, this error didn't happen on just any coin, it happened on a Lincoln penny, which is already a favorite among collectors. And here's where things get really fun. With this penny, you're not just buying a piece of history. You're buying rarity. As I always say, the fewer there are, the more valuable they become. This little mistake has made it one of the most sought-after pennies in the world. People are literally willing to pay millions for it. And if you have one in your pocket, you could be sitting on a fortune. But hold up, how do you even know if you've got one of these babies? Well, here's where the fun begins. You'll need to inspect that penny closely. Look for the absence of the mint mark on the reverse side, right under the date. If you spot it, you've got a pretty good chance of being a millionaire, and let's be real here. When was the last time you looked at your pocket change and thought, this could be worth millions? It's kind of like going to a yard sale and finding a Picasso painting shoved under a pile of old VHS tapes. It could happen, right? Now, let me tell you a quick story about my own experience with coin hunting. A couple of years ago, I was at a flea market, yeah, I'm one of those people, and found this small, unassuming jar filled with coins for about $5. The seller was like, take it or leave it, I'm just trying to get rid of it. Well, I took it. I mean, I had to, $5, right? Fast forward to me sitting at home, sorting through the coins, when I found a 1943 steel penny. I was like, whoa! This is a thing, right? A steel penny could be worth something. Well, to make a long story short, it wasn't worth a ton, but I did end up finding a couple of rare 1970s nickels in there that made the whole jar worth way more than I paid. Moral of the story: never underestimate your pocket change. You never know when you're going to get lucky. So, to wrap things up, the 1991 no-mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny is worth a whopping $1.7 million in today's market. If you find one, consider it your golden ticket, because this is one coin you'll want to hold on to. Remember, the key is the missing mint mark. If yours doesn't have one, you're in for a big surprise. Before you go rifling through your change jar or running to check your wallet, trust me, I'd do the same thing. Remember that rare coins are all about condition and authenticity. You might just have $1 million penny in your possession, or maybe you'll find one tomorrow. Either way, keep your eyes peeled. Oh, and before I let you go, don't forget to subscribe for more tips on coins that could make you a millionaire. Hit that bell icon so you never miss out on these mind-blowing coin discoveries. We're all about sharing secrets that could change your life with just a little bit of curiosity and a lot of luck. You never know when the next big find is just around the corner. 2016 Lincoln 1-cent penny that could be worth up to $1.8 million. Cue the jaw drop. I know what you're thinking. How on earth could a penny be worth that much? Stick around, and I'll break it all down for you. This story is gonna make you look at every penny in your pocket a little differently. Trust me, before we dive into the details, though, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We'll be uncovering more hidden gems that could make you rich one coin at a time. Alright, let's get to the good stuff. The 2016 Lincoln penny. On the surface, it's just your standard penny. Same oil design, right? But here's the kicker. The 2016 penny has a unique error that makes it worth a small fortune. It's a rare double-die error that shows up on the obverse. That's the side with Lincoln's face on it for all you new collectors out there. These double-die errors happen when the die used to mint the penny shifts slightly, which leaves extra details on the coin that shouldn't be there. In this case, the doubling is most noticeable on the date, the word Liberty, and even the In God We Trust inscription. Now, here's where the magic happens. Not every 2016 penny has this error, so finding one is like discovering a needle in a haystack. The ones that do have the double die error are incredibly rare, and because they're in demand from collectors, they can sell for around $1.8 million. Yes, million with an Let me tell you a little story about my personal experience with pennies. A few years ago, I was at a garage sale, just one of those lazy Sunday afternoons, and I found a jar full of coins. There were pennies, nickels, dimes, basically the usual. I remember thinking, it's just a bunch of old pennies, no big deal. But then, I picked up a few and noticed something funny about one of them. The date was slightly blurry. A little bit of Googling later, and I realized it was a rare 1943 copper penny. Guess what? It was worth over $100,000. Of course, I didn't sell it, but that's a story for another time. Moral of the story? You never know what's in your pocket, people. That penny you've been ignoring might be worth a fortune. Now, let's talk about how you can spot a 2016 Lincoln penny with this rare double die error. You'll want to check the date and inscriptions closely. Use a magnifying glass or a loupe, and get up close to look for doubling. It can be subtle, but if you catch it, you'll be holding on to something that's worth way more than a cent. And remember, the condition of the penny matters too. The better the condition, the more you can get for it. so keep your coins in mint condition and handle them carefully. Now, you might be wondering, how the heck did a penny go from 1 cent to $1.8 million? It all comes down to the rarity and demand. People love the thrill of hunting for these elusive coins, and when a collector finds one, they're willing to pay top dollar. It's the perfect storm of rarity, history, and the fact that everyone has pennies lying around. Who would have thought? So, if you're sitting there right now, rummaging through your change jar, or maybe even scouring the bottom of your couch cushions, I salute you. You might just find the next 2016 D. Lincoln penny with that coveted double die error. Remember, the key to turning that penny into a big payday is to be vigilant, know what to look for, and keep your coins in top shape. If you're ready to find more rare coins that could make you rich, make sure you're subscribed to this channel. I've got a ton more coin hunting tips and hidden treasures to share. You never know, your next coin might just be worth a small fortune.